Hello, everyone, and welcome to Challenge for Change. I'm so grateful to see all of you here today, spending the next 55 minutes with us, investing in yourself so you can invest in others. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Stevie Carr, founder and CEO of Wise Wellness Guild, a community aimed at advancing women through whole self-wellness, avoiding burnout, and supporting all people looking to invest in their own wellness. I have the great pleasure today of introducing to you the women of SheMoolah. They are here just doing incredible work in our community to be able to help to support people in their ability to change their money story. SheMoolah is an organization reinventing the relationship between money and the women who make it. Now, this conversation is open to everyone, but as we know, the financial literacy of women is significantly lower than that of men. And so we are really trying to change that story and allow for people to join forces with their money archetype to be able to bring new riches and a more fulfilled life. I am so excited to be able to partner with Paycor on this endeavor. They've been an incredible partner, and this is just one of the many series that we will host for our Challenge for Change series. So thank you so much for your time today, and I want to kick it over to the women of SheMoolah. So we have Dawn Parks and Liz Kitchell, who I've known for quite some time now. And I have myself gone through this money personality experience. I have found it to be incredibly rewarding because really understanding more about why I do the things that I do with my money and my relationship with money has really allowed for me to really have a better conversation with myself, with my spouse, and with my team here at Wise Wellness Guild. Knowing your tendencies and knowing how that might limit you and is really crucial and important to being able to achieve the goals that you want. So Dawn and Liz, I would love for you to join me here and kind of hop on and explain a little bit more about SheMoolah, and then we'll get started.
That'd be great. Thank you so much, Stevie. We are so excited to be here. We're going to take just a moment to kind of say how we came together. I'll say a little bit about my side, and I'll give Liz a moment to say a little bit about how she got involved in this conversation. But I have always had a good job. I didn't make millions, but I always had a good job, solid job, was always able to save a little bit, not much. But somewhere along the line, I realized I never learned about the basic rules of things like compound interest, and you should pay yourself first, which Liz is a master at. And when I was working on projects that would be multi-million-dollar projects, $500,000. And but then all of a sudden, it was 10, 11 years ago, I decided to get a divorce, had to file for bankruptcy, and went, what happened? And I knew I wasn't the only woman who wound up in this situation called, I make good money, but where is all my money? What do I have to do? And no one would talk to me. So I had to go out and start to learn on my own. And in the process, learned other women who were in the same spot. And we started, I started to coach them, and we started to coach each other because we realized that there's just stuff that we never learned in school. And so that's how my part of SheMoolah got started about 10 years ago, but it was under a different operation. So Liz, you want to say a little bit about yourself and your financial advising experience? Oh no, did we lose Liz? We lost Liz. So let me say a little bit about Liz. So Liz comes with 25 years of financial advising experience. And what she found was that while the products are all phenomenal, right? Everybody knows insurance products and 401ks and 529s. What she realized is that women weren't coming to the table and staying at the table because they felt uncomfortable with the way the advisors were approaching them. And so they would walk away trying to figure out, I got to deal with ballet lessons and I have to deal with other things. I'll deal with my 401k and life insurance later. And so she decided to leave the corporate world and started her own coaching business that allowed her to start to work with women and the emotional conversations that come from money. And So she and I met a couple of years ago and launched SheMoolah because we realized that we kind of covered the whole package. So here we are, and we're excited to be here. So Liz, I went ahead and introduced you because somehow you dropped off. Is there anything you want to say before we jump into the next part?
No, I'm very excited to be here. So let's go ahead and get started.
Okay. Already great. And if everybody could mute themselves, and I would love it. It's so much more fun when I can see you. So if you have the bandwidth and can put your face up, I would love it. If you can't, I know sometimes that isn't always a possibility. So what we're going to do today is we're going to do a poll. Well, we've got 3 questions we're very curious about. And then we are going to walk through the different conversations. And then we're going to have a conversation about the different archetypes. So everybody, if you would take a minute and answer these first couple of questions, I would really appreciate it. The first question is, you have a big dream and you're not taking action on it right now. Why not? You know, is it because you start a lot of things, but you never finish? That would be me. I could buy it now, but I hate to spend our money. I don't really know where to start, right? You've got a big idea. Where in the heck do I start? And nobody wants it but me. And then there's another question there. You know, I don't know how to do it with my current finances. So if people could answer the poll, that would be great. Then the second question is, if you had a choice, would you want more money or would you want less stress? And these are anonymous. We don't see what you're voting for.
And I think that one of the amazing parts about just diving into this exercise is about the self-awareness. How often do you have the opportunity to even take an hour and ask yourself this question? I know that for me, you know, I definitely fell into that category of, it's not necessarily about I'm accumulating money and where did it go? It's that, why am I accumulating money in the first place? Like, why am I working? What am I doing? And it's like, squirrel it away, but why? And I think that so much leads to us really understanding as business owners, as entrepreneurs, or as corporate folks, about really having that understanding of your why. I think is just really amazing. And then that personality that goes around that. So I'm really encouraged by, kind of getting in there today. So in terms of, so can everybody see, do you want me to go ahead and end the poll? We've got, I'd say we've got pretty good awareness here. So I will end the poll and then let's see if can you guys see the results here?
I can see the results. I don't know if other people can see. Everybody's saying yes, they can see the results.
Great. Yeah, thank you. So it looks like we've got a lot of people who are saying that I don't know where to start. So thank you for joining here, because this is a really, really, really great place to start.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's pretty evenly tied if people want more money or less stress. And then if you, I don't know if everybody saw the third question. If you took the quiz, what is your top archetype? So it looks like we have a lot of people didn't take it yet, and that's okay. During this process, you can learn, you'll be guessing what your archetype is, and then we would love it if you take the quiz later so that you can get a better sense about who you are, because you just might be surprised. So thank you, Stevie, for putting that up. So what I want to do is we want to kind of jump in a little bit right now, and we want to talk about this idea of having a dream. So a lot of times we have dreams and then life happens, right? Some of us are married, we might have kids, we might be like deep into a career and we do not have a lot of time to think about a dream or a goal because we're so busy with work or we're busy with family obligations. But I'd like you to take a moment and think about a dream that you have. And it's something you just haven't gotten started on. It could be anything from, I would really love a summer cottage, or I want to be able to pay my kids' college without having to take on any student loan debt. Or maybe you want to take a trip to Greece when COVID reopens, or maybe you want to change jobs. You really want something that's more fulfilling, but for some reason you just haven't taken any action yet. I'd like you to think about what that thing is. And if you could do it, how much money would you need? So I want you to take a note for yourself. Like, how much money do you need? Is the cottage that you want? Is it 250,000? Is it 450,000? Is it an RV on the lake, which might be $60,000? I don't know. So take this idea and try to ballpark how much you think it would cost to do it. And then when you've got that, if you could raise your hand or give me a thumbs up or somehow give me a sign, because like with school, I can't always tell when people have something done unless I'm looking at them. So just give me a sense if you've got your dream and how much you think it would cost. And I know you may not have done the research on it yet to know how much it would cost. All right, take just about another 10 or 15 seconds. Awesome. Awesome. Okay, so here's what I'd like you to do. We have a lot of people that are asking about the quiz. If you haven't taken the quiz, it takes about 2 minutes. It's really like a personality type, and I'll let Liz talk about the quiz and archetypes and what we're going to be sharing with you as it relates to this question. So I want you to be thinking about this question as we walk through the archetypes. So Liz, I'm going to hand it on over to you right now.
Great, thank you, Dawn. So the archetypes, archetypes are based off of Carl Jung, and the research has been around for a really long time with regards to different personality traits. He noticed trends that people had with regards to personalities, whether people tended to other people or whether they were more to take risks, these kinds of different things. Well, about 20 years ago, someone took the Carl Jung archetypes and translated them into money personalities. So the quiz that we used is based off of this research, and it's tried and true. And don't overthink the questions if you haven't taken it. It only takes about 2 minutes. Just go in, answer the questions, and the questions are asked in multiple different ways to help you get to the best solution for you, no matter if this is something that you used to do or you still do today with regards to your relationship with it to money. Now, by a show of hands, how many people have done assessments before? Personality assessments, Myers-Briggs or Enneagram or any of the other stuff, right? When we get this kind of information, sometimes we use that information as a weapon or a tool against ourselves. And that's not really what it's meant to do. It's really just awareness of where you are. And if we cut you open and we looked inside, we're not going to say, oh, there's that accumulator archetype, and there's that maverick archetype over there. There's the romantic. That's not really how it works. It's a perspective. It's a mindset in which an automatic pattern in which we relate to money. So it's really helpful in that regards. So Dawn's going to pull up the 8 different archetypes. We're going to go through them. If you have taken the quiz, listen for your top 3 archetypes. If you haven't, listen anyway, and you're going to resonate with several of these. And you'll be able to guess which one you are, and you can always test afterwards if you're correct. Now remember, we're just going to go through this information, and then we'll kind of figure out how this relates to you. So the accumulator is the first one. Here we go. So when we take a look at the accumulator, this is like a banker. Money in, money out, details have to be written down. They're very well organized. They're planners. They know how to calculate how much something costs, to research things, and then divide and come up with a financial plan to get there. They follow the rules and they're very disciplined. Here's the box with regards to money rules, and they stay within that box. Now, there are some people that are accumulators that aren't necessarily organized with money, but they're very organized in other areas of their life, like health and exercise and relationships. So you just may not have translated those strengths to money yet. Now, the challenges for an accumulator is that they can be overly cautious and conservative with regards to their money. They rarely question the tried and true processes. So financial literacy is black and white to them, and they don't question outside of that box. The thing that they're driven by most is they never want to be financially dependent on anybody else. So that drives them to be good at their money and follow the rules. But because they follow the rules, they sometimes will miss out on business opportunities because they're so busy researching what they should be doing. And they're not quite sure, even when they have researched it, if that's what they should be doing until they research it some more.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about the alchemist. So the alchemist, I always think about somebody like Oprah as an alchemist. You know, she's so idealistic. She's the champion of other people. And, you know, an alchemist, somebody like Oprah just says, well, I'm just going to make it happen. Now, we don't always take on, we that are alchemists don't always take on as big of things as Oprah might, but the alchemists really like to see the world, the good things of the world. Why can't everybody be fed? Why can't every kid have a computer? Why can't every kid be in school? How come we can't have clean water? Why is it that people are littering? They really believe that if people just did the right thing, then the world would be a better place. And because of that, if people just did the right thing, then money wouldn't be so important. So it becomes a big challenge for an alchemist, because if people did the right thing and money wouldn't be so important, then we could just barter and we could trade. Well, the way our current economic system is set up, you really do need cash to be able to make things happen. People doing the right thing can still only go so far. So an alchemist really wants people to do the right thing, to support other people, to have other people have their dreams come true. One of the other things that an alchemist has to overcome is at some level, they really believe that there's an unfair balance of wealth in the world, and really get frustrated when they see people who have money spend it on expensive, luxurious things when they know that nearby there's a homeless shelter that could use more money or use some more medicine or use something for that population. So the alchemist really struggles in trying to have a strong relationship to money. And that is the opportunity for them to transform. And one of the things that we didn't mention earlier is that each one of these has the ability to be wealthy. The challenge column is the thing for you to transform. So once an alchemist realizes the role of money, then they can become extraordinarily wealthy, right? Once they realize that while there may be an unfair balance of wealth, once they become comfortable with that, they can find ways to redistribute wealth. So whatever your archetype is, it is the perfect archetype for you, and it can make you wealthy.
So the celebrity, I think of a quote I read the other day by Sarah Jessica Parker, who said, I like to see my money. I like to have my money where I can see it. And that's in her closet, like hanging up so she can see everything, right? So that's kind of the celebrity. They're good at creating high visibility for businesses. They are the person that's out front. They're the leader. They like to be seen. They can actually kind of cheerlead causes and pull people together for that cause. They will galvanize a group quickly and powerfully. If you are ever organizing a fundraiser, you want to find your celebrity fast, because they're going to find the money for you and pull together the best resources and be the face of that fundraiser. They're really good at stuff like that, including it's a tool. It's a tool to increase status, visibility, bring people together, and to be seen. Now you can sense that it probably has some challenges. The high maintenance and deserving of status as results that they produce comes at a cost. And that cost is they may often overspend. And they don't necessarily always, because status is more important than anything else, they will sometimes overspend or take their reserves very low. They have this remote work is the death of them, because they're not around their people, their tribe, and that they're not leading. And if they're not leading the tribe and out in front, they kind of have a little bit part of them dying a little bit inside. So that's the celebrity overall. And you can see how money can sometimes be a challenge for them, but they're also really good at being a magnet for it.
The next is the connector. So the connector can be an introvert or an extrovert. But a connector is someone who relationships are of the utmost importance in terms of anything and everything in their lives. They would rather die than ask someone for money. They want the relationship that they have with you is critical. It is the most important thing. And so whether you have 3 people that you arts you cannot stand the thought of not having a good relationship with, or if you're an extrovert where you can manage 150 or 200 people, where you know what they want, what they need, what they're good at, that the connector is all about keeping the relationship alive. They're the kinds of people that give a white glove service for clients, right? They always have the experience of, give people the experience that you're working with a friend. And they're really a great employee. They really want the company to provide the financial stability because they really don't like talking about money. And so the challenge for them is that they can only talk to enough people that they can manage. So you'll find that somebody who's got, you'll see it on Facebook quite often where somebody says, hey, if I haven't heard from you in a while, I'm going to cut you off my Facebook list. It's because they can't see you. They don't feel like they have a relationship with you. That's the connector who says, I can't manage all these people anymore. I have to get it to a manageable size. So they get overwhelmed if they're in business, if they have too many prospects. They can only handle so many people coming into the funnel, and then they freeze. They don't know what to do with all the people that they could be working with. And the people that who really would buy their products from them, they won't ask them to buy. Or if they do, they'd rather give it to them for free or for a less expensive price, because it's more important to them to be able to keep the relationship alive.
So a maverick, if you think about Elon Musk, he's a maverick. They have really big dreams, out of the box thinking, and they love structuring deals and handling financial complexity. Like they can see how everything can possibly work that's really complex. They're very charismatic because they have to be. They have these big dreams and they need to get funders. They need to get people on board with them. But when Elon Musk was saying, we're going to do this, I'm sure people looked at him and said, because the thing about mavericks overall, they have these big dreams and they can think about this financial complexity. They can't necessarily follow the rules. They don't want to follow the rules. They resist the tried and true. So they have to have a foundation or somebody that can help them with a foundation to get those investors. So if you think about this on a personal level, you may have an idea that you want to go after and you jump and you leap. And then you go and do that for a little bit of time. You might go and try the next get rich quick scheme because you're like, why not? This might be a really great opportunity for me to get rich. And it may or may not work out. The biggest challenge for the maverick is to have some sense of financial security instead of gambling with it.
So the next one is the nurturer. The nurturer is someone you can think of like a mom or a teacher. They are always looking at how can they remove obstacles and take care of the person. If you ever hear yourself saying, or you hear someone else saying, I don't want you to have to go through what I went through, that is a nurturer. If you think about it like a butterfly in the cocoon, if you try to open the cocoon early, the butterfly will look beautiful, but will never be able to fly. They have to go through the roughing of the edges of the cocoon to get the little invisible marks that allows the wings to catch the air. And nurturers really are good at trying to take away the pain. They don't want people to have to go through the pain. They hate to see people suffering. And so they will work hard to try to move the obstacles out of the way, whether it's a kid, a spouse, or somebody at work. As a result, then they wind up being overly generous sometimes with personal and company time or resources, including money. Let's give everybody a bonus. Let's make sure everybody gets an extra day off, because they're loyal and they're devoted to the employees. So the challenge, though, is they really feel this need to rescue everybody, which means they're really not very good at HR. If you have a nurturer, don't put them in HR. Put them in training, because you want them. They will make sure that everybody learns everything they need to know. But they're not very good at managing some of the big HR disciplinary conversations. They also are a person that's not always good to be able to charge as a business person, coach, consultant, because they feel like, I already have this knowledge. I should give it to you so you don't have to work hard. Let me help you get started. So what happens then is execution and boundaries get really blurry. And nurturer will often say, oh my God, I help everybody else. Why won't anybody help me? right? So we have to, this is truly the nurturer, put the mask on first and then put the mask on other people. And that will be the way for a nurturer to alter their conversations about money.
Okay, I had to laugh out loud on that one because I am definitely a nurturer. And some of you know this because I've worked with you in the past. So romantic. The strengths with regards to the romantic is they're the ones that show you how to live your life. You know, there's a lot of sayings today that money is a vehicle to live your life. The romantic is the one that knows how to do this best. They have this mindset that says, well, I work really hard. I deserve it. I'm going to go to a spa getaway this weekend. I'm going to go treat myself to pedicure. So they want to experience life through all possible avenues. They're going to taste it, touch it, feel it, experience it. They make amazing event planners because they want to make sure that everybody has an experience that they will remember. Now, as a boss or as a business owner, they want to make sure that all their employees are happy now. So they're going to be like, oh, what can we do to increase engagement? What can we do to have more fun at work? So they really do put engagement first. And this also means that's what they do with money. So you can imagine a romantic may overspend and spend more than they have because they might bury their head in the sand because they deserve the really nice things. So they ignore the financial rules. They may overspend. They also may fall for the get-rich-quick schemes because they want more money to go and experience life. And when they are in this overspending, it's typically because they have a need that may not be being met right now, and they're looking for a surrogate and fill it with things like that feel good or make them, you know, experience life to the fullest.
Special cheese, chocolate, that
Exactly.
extra $5 for a bottle of wine, right? All right, so the ruler, this is one of mine. So I'm a ruler and a maverick and a celebrity with a little bit of nurturer thrown in. So the ruler, as you can imagine, is someone who's visionary. They're kind of looking over the whole thing, whether you're the ruler over your family. So you're making sure that the spouse, the kids, the dog, everybody is taken care of. How's mom or grandparents? You're always thinking about the entire quote unquote kingdom. If maybe it's a department at work where you have several employees, maybe it's a club that you belong to. You may not even have the title of leader or manager or like that, but you are the kind of designated one who watches over and makes sure that everyone is moving forward at the same time. No one is left behind. And so what happens for the ruler, they can see where they want to go and where they want to take people, right? It's very courageous. And in order to go there, there's usually some rules. So if you think about a kingdom or a CEO, there's rules. You have to follow these rules. If you don't follow the rules, you get a warning, then you get some discipline, then you might have to either leave the kingdom or leave the company, right? There's a lot of things around rules because if people start to play outside the rules too much, then their vision gets watered down. They're busy trying to handle all the wayward people, and where they're trying to go, that's a real distraction. So the challenges for a ruler then is that there's never enough money. There's never enough resources. They need a bigger cottage. They need a bigger car. They need more money. They need better schools. They're always thinking about what's next and how can I get access to the resources. They worry about their company if they're a boss, and they worry about the employees. So they're the first ones to start to go through some other kinds of cost reductions to make sure they can take care of all of the people in their world. And as a result, then they might push people to some unreasonable standards. We have got to get this done. If we're going to head there, we're going to have to tighten our belts, and everybody can stay, but you're going to have to do 3 jobs in order to keep moving forward. And sometimes you have that in your families too, right? Even the 3-year-olds are now starting to vacuum because everybody's got to pull their weight to make it all happen. So those are the archetypes in general that we've been discussing. So
And
I'm
Dawn
gonna.
Liz, I think that, the chat is just starting to kind of fill up with people saying what their different types are and how they're stepping into this. And I love it because I think specifically Colette said, I feel heard. And I know that that's how I felt. I'm a ruler with a little bit of accumulator and alchemist. And I think that as you think about, for me as a business owner, once I started to recognize that I'm insatiable, that like it will never be enough, that I actually needed to get out of my own way and start to invest in order to grow my business. And I know that there's a little bit of that accumulator, but the ruler is like all about being, making the right decisions, knowing where this goes, and understanding that like it's really that it will always be a challenge and a balance. And so I hope that you guys have found this to be, incredibly helpful. If you've got additional things that you want to place into the chat, I think that's wonderful. But I'm really excited to see that that this is really resonating with people. And Natasha, I too agree. I see zero problems with a 3-year-old vacuuming. Like, doesn't work. I mean, mine does. Mine unloads the dishwasher and he's 5. So it works for me.
Yeah. The problem happens is when you expect them to be able to do it as well as an 18-year-old, right?
I know. Well, he's getting there. The craft is good. It's all about lining it up. So.
Well, I think, so Stevie, you bring up a really great point in that. So these archetypes, they work together. So I, as a maverick celebrity ruler, they're all women, people who operate alone. So the ruler has a team that supports the vision. A celebrity needs people to say, oh my gosh, you're great. How can we help you? How can we keep you feeling wonderful? Right? And then the maverick is, Elon Musk out there. I have no problem with my bank account going like this, but it doesn't work very well for the people in my family. And it was when I saw that I was a maverick, I realized why I didn't have savings and I had to file bankruptcy. But then Liz is a nurturer and a connector and an accumulator. So you can imagine if there's a maverick having a conversation with an accumulator and you're running a business together. Imagine this with your spouse or a kid, right? Or maybe my celebrity is there and her, her nurturer is saying, yes, you should be the celebrity, Dawn. You go be the face. You can see it doesn't always work well moving things forward, but it helps when you can see it because you're outside of it. It's not Dawn is bad in taking a risk. It's my maverick is in charge in the moment. Can you guys see how that starts to work together? So I'm going to stop sharing for just a moment. And Liz, do you want to talk a little bit about, to get people ready for going into a breakout session?
I would love to. So we were talking earlier, what's that one thing, that dream, that goal, that aspiration that you were looking to do, and money may or may not be keeping you from it, and how much does it cost, and what would that look like? And then let's say, we were handing you the money. But in that process of, dreaming it or feeling it, you realize you really wanted it. And we're not writing a check for everybody. I wish we could. That would be awesome because I love handing out checks. I think that's the celebrity hidden in me. I love handing out checks. But let's just say you have discovered through this process that you really want that thing. And your archetype will give you some ideas on how that might be possible. So I'm going to walk through a couple different areas or ways that an archetype might be able to get you to that. One of the things I want to do is buy a summer cottage for my families. And the romantic in me is really good about dreaming, the amenities. I want the lake. I want a boat. I want to be able to sleep 6 to 8 people. I want a big open area for everyone to connect and play games and maybe have a pool table or other things that are there. So it'll cost around $450,000, and I want it to be within 2 hours of Cincinnati. So it's going to take a little research. So if you're a ruler, you might go, how can we make this work? You might want to go in with other people, join forces with another kingdom that has similar goals so that you can really create, that summer home that is beneficial for the entire kingdom, both kingdoms. That's what a ruler might do. A ruler might also go and get a bank loan and take a look at go ahead and moving forward with that dream, goal, aspiration, especially if it's good for the kingdom right now. But a connector is going to do their research and look for a place that has cabins where their friends and family members can also buy cabins close by with a big open space connecting all of them where they might have tag football or volleyball or other fun things for them to do. The accumulator is just going to calculate how much it is going to cost them, and they're going to build a plan based on how much they need to make and save monthly to get there and how many years it'll take. So you can see how different archetypes might get you there. And a maverick, let's talk about a maverick. A maverick's going to figure out how to make more money and just make it happen within a year. So we're going to go into breakout rooms, and I want you in your breakout rooms to acknowledge your top archetype and the dream goal aspiration and how they might help you get there. So you'll be in groups of 4. Each of you will have about 2.5, 3 minutes to share, and then we'll come back together. And Dawn and I also will probably be going into breakout rooms, and we're looking forward to being with you. And we'll come back together in about 12 minutes.
Great. I'm going to go ahead and put you guys into breakout rooms now. And then, yeah, we'll come back in a few minutes. Thank you. Welcome back, everyone. Hello.
I hope everybody had a useful time in the breakouts. If you would like to share something that was really powerful, please do so in the chat.
Absolutely. And I know that these conversations are always unique and sometimes a little difficult to rectify. That's one area that I'm just, like I said, incredibly grateful for this space to be able to speak to other like-minded people who want to do the work and are ready to kind of dive in. I think that it's important that we acknowledge that this is a journey. And that today you leave with just one more tool in your toolbox to be able to do the really important work of self-reflection, understanding, and also, maybe thinking about one thing that you could do to acknowledge those challenges and sit with it and then figure out how you're going to overcome it. I think that that's just like, for me, one of the most important pieces is just that self-awareness. Great.
Well, great. We're so glad to have everybody back. What I'd love to, since it is such a big group, we don't really have time to hear from everyone, but if you can in the chat put in any ahas or any questions, and we can try to answer some questions. And then Liz and I will be available after this till 12:45 to answer any questions that you all might have. But what our hope is that in this process, what you started to see is how your archetype is actually having a say in what you're trying to accomplish. It's not necessarily you. And you were like, sometimes the nurturer is showing up, or sometimes your alchemist is showing up, and your alchemist might be showing up, and then all of a sudden something tugs on your heartstrings, and the nurturer is there, and why are you feeling sorry for somebody all of a sudden? Or why do you feel like you have to take care of it? And it's just because another archetype has shown up. And the work that Liz and I do with people is to support them in understanding the archetype and to flesh it out more fully so that you have more power around your money. And whether we work with entrepreneurs who are trying to start businesses. So what are the actual tactics? And then what happens? Why am I stopping? Or why am I overwhelmed? Or what are my worries? And what are my concerns? We work with people who are just looking to grow their businesses, people who are trying to figure out money relationships at home. So whether it's a face-to-face class, we have an online class, you can do it at your own pace. We do coaching. We have this one thing I heard quite a bit of, and then Liz, I'll let you say any other wrap-up comments that you might have. But one of the things I heard a lot of people talk about is as their dream, they're standing in today and looking out there, trying to figure out how to do it. The real work that we do is we start from the future and we work backwards. So if I wanted a cottage that's going to cost me $450,000, I say, okay, imagine I have the cottage. Now, what did I do 6 months before then? All right, I finalized the loan and I was buying furniture. And what did I do 6 months before that? Well, I found the place. Then the year before that, I was doing research, right? So we work backwards so you don't see the obstacles. So then when you get to today, you're like, oh, I'm not going to worry about this other thing. I need to work on my project. I know exactly what I need to do. So for those of you who struggle trying to figure out what to do, I'm in your camp. And this process is amazing. That helps you see what you need to do and when you need to do it. Liz, anything you want to say to wrap things up?
Yeah, I do want to just touch base on this real quickly. Is in our breakout, we were talking about a lot of different things, but it's really important to be intentional. A lot of this just shows you automatic patterns that you have, and sometimes they just don't work for you anymore because it shows you what you've done in the past, right? And as you say where you want to go and why you want to go to a certain place in the future, it helps you understand if you're being intentional or not intentional. And when we work with women, we meet them, and we work with anyone really, but a lot of times women are really drawn to this work because we allow the whole person to come forward and talk about money, but we meet them where they're at, whether it's the dreams, goals, or aspirations that they want to work on, or there might be some financial literacy that gets in the way. And we work on one-on-one with people, and we work on groups. And we make it a safe place where there's no guilt, shame, or anything. You know, we're really committed to creating spaces where we can talk about money just like this in groups, and there's no guilt or shame
And I
or
love
judgment.
that. Well, and I love that. I know that coming out of this work, it helped me to understand that I needed to hire a team. And it wasn't possible for me to do everything that I was doing and everything that I dreamed of without actually hiring other people to do it. And I think that if I can just, be a walking testimonial for this group, I think it's that we a lot of times let the fear of not being able to achieve our dreams hold us back from actually starting the process in the first place. And this is just one of those pieces that allows for us to have the ability to sit with our dreams, to think big, and then stepping into that vision and those values that we really want to live in congruence with our dreams. So I'm so grateful for the time today. As I said, I am going to wrap us up here, but if you would like to stay on, you are more than welcome to. Dawn and Liz have graciously offered for anyone who has questions that you can stick around and ask those. We thought that it would be beneficial for everyone. Thank you again to Paycor for being such an incredible partner, generously sponsoring all of today's seats and the Challenge for Change approach that we have, that we really want to empower people to have more open dialogue around money. And as a payments company, they know the value of being able to really have autonomy over your money. And so thank you so much. Our next Challenge for Change event is actually on May 12th. It will be, and I put the RSVP link into the chat. I can go ahead and bring that back up. But it is all about your money story, and that's going to be with Fifth Third Private Bank. So all of these are going to be available on our site. So if you missed this today and you want to go back and refer to it, feel free to do so. But we really encourage for you to try to just take this time to invest in yourself. Take one thing that you can do to move the ball forward, and make sure that you follow SheMoolah on all of their social media sites. They're very easy to find. Our next WISE event, we have a sustainability event for Earth Month coming up on Monday. And then we have an event coming up on May 1st that is with Two Little Buds. It's an in-person, socially distanced event that allows for you to go foraging in flower fields. It sounds super dreamy, right? And allows for you to have wine and cocktails and allow for you to be able to be outside and embrace nature. We're really encouraging people during this time to exhale and regroup. The very last thing I would say is we have a motherhood event coming up on May 4th, brought to you by the Christ Hospital. And that is going to be all about how we talk to moms who are getting ready to enter into this motherhood space, as well as people who are looking for different opportunities. They're already moms and looking to connect with one another. So make sure you check us out at wisewellnessguild.com/events for more information. Thank you for spending your time with us today. We really appreciate it. Get outside, get some sunshine on your face, hydrate, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.